And as we speak, the Tazat Confederacy is mobilizing its war fleets. This coincides with a sudden spike in military transmissions, and intercepted transmissions decoded by our cryptologists reveal that these messages are orders to prepare for full combat readiness, and wait to receive reinforcement. We have activated deep space sensor drones within Tazat space and are waiting to receive data pings from Seven Still. But the closest sensor has relayed to us intel that the Tazat are drafting additional soldiers. With all this following the generally most fierce and spirited declaration to eradicate us yet, it does not take a refined military mind to conclude that the Tazat are coming for us. The only thing stopping it from already being a war is the official declaration, though it seems the Tazat are trying, poorly I might add, to keep it all under wraps for now.
Then what was inevitable has begun. Play along with them and let them think we're unprepared. No movements that would be noticed as unusual should be undertaken, but make what preparations you can. I will greenlight the construction of several new warships for covert production, and begin reactivating the droid armies. Do not move your fleet from Militaria to guard our border. I will have the Safonts evacuated from the border station and place its control entirely under my own. Should Tazat border fleets launch a preliminary strike, no Safont lives will be lost.
How untypically thoughtful of you.
I realize that others would appreciate this action. Consider it a festive act of deliverance from Tazat termination.
Alright, Cyrus Santa. Fancy delivering a message to the Principality that it's time to get their fleets in order.
I will not be informing them until the time for overt countermeasures has come. Should information somehow come out that we know their attempts to attack us by surprise, we may
ruin a perfectly good chance to take them by surprise instead. Alright then.
Please relay my instructions to Colton. I am needed for other activities.
Like what, exactly?
I'm playing chess. I am currently on a winning streak of 50 games.
Chess? What are you doing down there?
It's Christmas.
You don't celebrate Christmas. Your consciousness comprised of binary algorithms and quantum computer code that happens to be able to house itself in either metal core or hybrid machine brain.
Not my idea. The Cerberuses arranged it, and I was invited.
You didn't celebrate Christmas any other year? Should I be miffed that I wasn't invited?
They decided to do something unique for the 60th year. And you would have been invited if you didn't have a war to prepare for. Perhaps you can attend next year. If the war is over by then, of course.
That can be the slogan for the troops. Home by Christmas. Last time that phrase was uttered, things went terribly well for everyone. Can you stop yammering? You're distracting Cortus from the game. Alright, but I doubt it'll improve your odds at all.
Okay. Knight to g5. Checkmate in 23 moves.
This is so unfair. You're using your core as a calculator which our cores can't compete with.
I run the administration with it. Of course, you'd stand no chance against me. If I was using it.
You're telling us that you can beat 2 of the 3 head scientific Cerberuses in a game of chess without using your core? There's no way you can do that. Rook to b5.
I tell no lie. I use only the computational power the hybrid brain within this body provides. And that move was a mistake to make. Pawn to c4. Checkmate in 2.
I'm putting coal in your stocking.
No, you won't. There is no coal down here, and you would have to get dirty mining for it. And you are increasingly phobic to anything remotely unclean.
I do not spend hours keeping this body healthy and clean, or days choosing clothes just for me or my dresses to get ruined by coal dust in a mine or oil in a factory. That's what the casual attire is for.
How would you function if your work wasn't almost entirely computer-based? We have uniforms for the exact purpose of saving your wardrobe, but you never wear them anymore. You're always in a jacket or something fancy, and neither of them you can stand to get messy or ripped. You are so toffee-nosed, Cynthia.
That is the nicest description of me I've ever heard from your lips. If you had a suit, or had spent an hour on your hair, you wouldn't want it to get ruined by some oil monkey whose sense of fashion and cleanliness only occasionally reminds him to wash the muck off his hands and clothes. If I hadn't told you otherwise, you would have come here today with slick hair, slick hands, and dirt under your finger. There's still dirt under your nails, you slob.
What do you expect me to do, scrape it out with a fork?
You are getting a nail file in your stocking. And soap. Lots of soap.
I see you are sparing no expense. Coal for me, and some soap for Charlie. For someone who in part came up with this idea, you are not very good at this gifting behaviour. This is coming from me, a binary-brained dimwit who lacks full understanding of your human-like eccentricities.
I said your stocking. You still get something else. But what exactly do you gift a talking calculator?
We could decorate his core with some paint and tinsel. Then maybe a giant Santa hat on it too.
No.
Okay. We'll just dye your hair and beard white, and stick a Santa hat on you while you sleep instead.
Is this the typical method the humans employed to ensure the most optimal assurance of joy for their winter festivities?
Yes,
Absolutely.
very optimal.
Extremely festive.
And you'll even look like the sleigh-riding fat man himself.
In a hypothetical scenario, how would he deliver presents into this facility?
Through the air intake on the surface, I imagine.
How would he get through the laser grids and energy barriers?
Elf, cannon fodder?
Santa does not employ human suicide wave tactics in his present delivery methods. And what about the fans and automated turret security?
He'd turn himself into dust so that his bodily form couldn't be slain.
Dust and gas-based entities would be sucked into a purification chamber and incinerated or chemically blasted into a pure form of air. Santa Claus would not survive.
Do I have to be the one to tell you that you're debating how Santa would get into here without being terminated by security features? We're a week away from an official war, one that will end in the deaths of thousands, if not millions, and you're talking about blowing up Santa with automated turret defenses.
You know you want to.
Alright, first off, he wouldn't use the air intake. He'd turn his elves into little sprites and shrink all the presents so they could hide them aboard one of the lifts down to this bunker and...
What is that noise?
I don't think it's meant to sound like that.
Turn it off. My ears are bleeding.